LaVar Ball was definitely right about LaMelo.
You said, and you used to tell us this all the time, especially off the air. You was like, the baby is going to be the best of all of them. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be faster.
Melo is going to be, watch me dance again.
Okay.
#1 pick 2020. Because
LaMelo.
he's that good. He's that good. I can't wait for a team to say, you know what? I ain't going to pick a 6'8" point guard who's young, who put people in the seats. I'm not going to pick him #1.
LaVar.
I guarantee you do, because he that dude.
He's going.
He said this stuff in 2019, June of 2019. This guy was sure of it, even then. And boy, has LaMelo looked incredible as of late.
LaMelo darts inside, score the goal and a foul.
He going up against a Greek freak and he's saucing him. Look at this move. Wow.
LaMelo pushed. Still goes in.
This guy ended up going for 50 points in this game against the Bucks. And I know he ended up losing this game, but he had a double-double with 10 assists. Let's just look at some of these stats that he's been putting up lately. After playing every game this season thus far, 17 games at that, 31 points a game, 5 rebounds, almost 7 assists a game. It's just beautiful numbers right here. And these last 5 games just speak for themselves. I mean, that Brooklyn game wasn't so good, but he only played 24 minutes. All the other games where he played 30 plus, look at this. He's averaging almost 40 plus points a game. The jump in scoring are obviously correlating to the jump in shots attempted and shots made. Look at those 3-point shots. He's attempting, I think, a league-leading 12.7 shots a game from the 3-point line. He's been shooting the heck out of the ball right now from the 3-point line.
Why were you so convinced that Melo would be the best of all your boys?
Well, it's just like they like phones. Like I told you, you keep making one phone better than the next one. You don't make this one will be good, but you learn the stuff from this one to put on this one.
I mean, you could fault LaVar for the way he talks, the bodacious way he goes at saying some of the things he's saying, but one thing you can't fault him for is the way he raises his sons.
Yeah. Lonzo's a facilitator. He can do his thing. He can score. Lonzo, but Jello is the heck of a shooter.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. Now, Melo learns from both of them. So Melo is the only one in my family that can play the 1 or the 2. Jello can't play the 1 because as soon as he pass half court, he think he open and he love to shoot. So he ain't gonna get nobody involved. Lonzo can't really play the 2 on the fact that you're passing the ball in the corner where he's supposed to take a 3. He looking for the cutter, and that's too long. Right. He ain't supposed to look for no cutter. Melo can flip from playing the 1 out of necessity, passing the ball, to flipping over the 2 to try to score 100 points on his own.
And that's the big difference you see from like Alonzo Ball and the LaMelo Ball. One is really a great point guard. He passes the ball at the elite level. With LaMelo, it's just so much more obvious how much better of a scorer he is than his brothers.
He had Lonzo's eye for passing the basketball.
Well, all my boys can pass the ball like that because that's how I taught them growing up, playing like that.
I'm not sure you can teach that at the high,
yeah.
the Lonzo level.
Yes, you got to teach that, but you know you got to start them when they like 6 and 7 years old.
Okay.
And that's my boy's been passing like that a long time.
It's so easy to look at the way he dances on the court, seemingly playing like he's free out there, but obviously he's much more than just a scorer. And obviously that's what makes LaMelo such a well-rounded player offensively. And obviously being the youngest out of the 3 brothers, he's had to obviously learn from his older brothers, and he was able to pick out some of the strengths and weaknesses from each one of them. Then he went from that 13-year-old that was 5'5" to playing now at 15 plus, and he's now 5'11". It's just beautiful stuff. Obviously, he would grow steadily at 6'2". And one thing you immediately picked out from LaMelo was just how bold he was. Look at this freaking half-court shot. And you just gotta give it up to LaVar for even putting these guys in these positions where, you know, LaMelo at 16 years old is playing in Lithuania, whilst you got other students in high school that would probably love to do the same thing, but obviously have to, you know, study their textbooks and, you know, study for that chemistry exam.
The youngest has had to take a bizarre path to the NBA.
Took the best path.
Well, is it?
Yes. Why? Because, okay, he got the focus completely on basketball.
Right.
Now, back in the day, well, I ain't going to say back in the day, most of the guys that play in Europe, they start playing professional at 14, 15 years old.
Right.
So now, if I take my son, who's an American, and take him over there to Lithuania to let him get involved in this early. So now, Melo's not doing a term paper and a chemistry test and all that. He's focusing concentrating only on basketball.
Some people may think LaVar is just this, brash dude that has no regard for what, his sons have to go through. This guy's deliberate. You could tell this guy is calculated in the way he looks at things, and he tries to put his sons in the best positions possible. And when LaMelo announced to the world that he was going to go play in Australia and be a pro, obviously, in Australia, after having been a pro in Lithuania, going to Geneva, Ohio to play at Spire Institute, and also playing in the Drew League during that summer, well, it had a lot of people curious as to the development of LaMelo back in Australia.
Which is pretty late.
And you said he was better than you when you guys were at the same age. That
Yeah,
you were.
for sure. He was more advanced, for sure.
Do you think he can become a better player than you? I don't want to make it a competition, but do you think he can?
I think in real time, I don't ever think he'll be better than me.
Yeah.
But at the same age, when I was 20, he was 20, I think he's better.
Yeah.
And LaMelo, obviously, you could say his father, gave him great advice. But the response as to why he wanted to go to Australia to play pro, it was interesting.
Why did you decide this is the way to go for you?
I just think it's the best route for me. I'm trying to be the #1 pick for the 2020 draft, so I heard they got great strength and conditioning over there, so off the court that'd be good, and then on the court, pros been through there, stuff like that, so I think it's all gonna help. And it's just best for me, I think.
Yeah.
And I think one reason a lot of people are very happy seeing LaMelo's success in the NBA now is because, well, to be quite frank with you, many of you who've watching this video right now have followed LaMelo's path to the NBA as a kid, obviously in the Ball in the Family reality show that they had. So they feel as though they grew up watching somebody go from a very little kid that was, quite frankly childish to now an NBA pro that, he still likes to act childish sometimes, but he still is a pro and people are happy about it.
You're a selfish mother. You get tapped in the head. I told your ass, we cannot respond like that.
There were a couple of points during this show that LaVar was, giving his son tough love.
We're gonna win, because the leader looking like he's sad, walking. Let me sleep. I tell you what, Melo, you can sleep the rest of the tournament if you want to, son. You ain't gotta play. Here, hold the ball, because you ain't used to it. And until you learn to be like your brother and play both ends, you're gonna be sorry as hell. You don't have enough of this killer in you. I don't see it.
Now you can argue it's a reality show, it's all for the cameras, but it just goes to show you, man, this is the type of mentorship that LaMelo and all his brothers have had to go through under LaVar.
Very disappointed in you. It's about the childish that you got me on a whole nother zone. I'll tell you his stats so you can see what the hell this is.
2 for 10. 10 turnovers.
I don't give a you heard it, seen it, read it, or wrote it down yourself. I'm gonna say them out loud so your ass can hear them again.
And you might think, how is this the same guy that basically goes on TV and lauds his sons as being the best thing since sliced bread and says LaMelo's going to go #1 in the draft? And that's where people might think, oh, LaVar just, he's buttering them up. No, he's being tough on them. Despite all the expectations he has on them, he's still giving them that tough advice. I will say that when he yelled at him for basically being childish during that one episode, that was funny as hell. And also, he's talking about how Michigan's in Detroit. I mean, come on now. No, I mean, we could tell that he didn't go to high school much. But all in all, LaVar was putting him in an environment where he could legit focus on hoops and just excel at that. And boy, is he excelling at that right now.
Third best defense.
I want to hold you under 100 points.
This man is by far the most entertaining player that isn't named Ja Morant when he gets it going. And in this game against Orlando, he had 44 points after scoring 50 in the last game. And I think we all knew LaMelo had this in his game, man, that he could dominate and also, be flashy at the same time. And it's obviously unfortunate that he's had to go through so many injuries as he has in his young career already. And obviously LaVar saying, he blames it on the conditioning, the raggedy shoes. Which ones? The ones that Big Baller Brand made? I mean, I'm just curious about that. No, he'll say it's Puma. It's Puma that made his shoes raggedy. Well, for now, he doesn't have to worry about those injuries because he hasn't been injured so far this season. He's played every game this season, and I am praying to God that this dude stays healthy this season because it's been beautiful. He recently just made a Hornets franchise record for most 3-pointers in a 3-game span. It's just crazy to look back on, the career he's had in high school, the career he's had in the NBA now, and just seeing how much better he's become now.
LaMelo Ball played like the superstar here in game number 1, getting his poppers from Kemba Walker.
And yet it feels like he's being underrated or he's not being talked about nearly enough. Like, I was trying to look up if ESPN had made a video talking about LaMelo, and it's been, years since I've seen actual, conversations about this dude LaMelo. Is LaMelo already a superstar in the league? I wonder if they're making these videos this week. Maybe they've been waiting on this week to make these videos, but it's quite weird that I'm not seeing a single video from ESPN yet about LaMelo's crazy good season. That used to be a huge topic on First Take, for example. I mean, where is this now? And I'm looking at this NBA MVP ladder. I know LaMelo is now on a particularly good team. But obviously Jokic is going to be number 1. I already outlined this. Giannis, Shea, the next 5. Where's LaMelo? He's averaging 30+ on crazy good shooting. Where's LaMelo at? Where's LaMelo? He's not even on this list. The honorable mentions? Are you serious? You got Karl-Anthony Towns there, but you don't got LaMelo. You got, bro, he's having a crazy good year. I think he's one of the best point guards in the East. If the All-Star starters were announced today, LaMelo would make it by far. Easily would be an All-Star starter this year. And he's not even being mentioned in the MVP convos. Are we serious? And it's probably down to the fact that he's in Charlotte. I mean, let's be honest. Who cares about Charlotte like that? Who really pays attention to what goes on in Charlotte? But let me tell you something, man. You need to pay attention to what's going on there, because it's not just LaMelo's, Brandon Miller too. Those guys are putting on a show. It's fun to watch. Eric Collins, as always, making it fun to watch with his commentary. It's beautiful, man. Charlotte's, they're in a good place. Even though the injuries, I will say something about the injuries. They are cursed. They are beyond cursed with the injuries. Oh my God, they're cursed. And I know there's been tons of people, they've wanted to see Charles Lee fired because he benched LaMelo in the closing minutes of the Nets game. That same game that I said he had, 24 minutes. I mean, that could explain why. I mean, look, Charles Lee, I don't know what you're up to, but if you do that shit again, if you pull that bullshit, you best believe you about to get national TV on you. Because LaMelo's box office, you cannot sit him on the bench for that long, especially not in the closing minutes. I am so ashamed it took this long for me to get into the fourth quarter, because LaMelo has been the best fourth quarter player by far in this league. Scotty Barnes number 2, really? Oh wow, I'm intrigued about that. But fourth quarter points, LaMelo number 1 with field goals of 52%, 41% from deep. By far attempting the most threes in the fourth quarter, right? Emmanuel Quickley has only played 2 games. It's not fair to really, talk about him like this. But LaMelo, he's been the best fourth quarter player by far. He's played in every single game this season. He's by far one of the best players in this NBA. I think he needs to be talked about way more, because he legit has all-star starter buzz, and I'm not seeing enough buzz. I'm really not. That's what's really pissing me off right now. He needs more attention on him. He really does.
The Hornets came back from an 18-point deficit. What inspired that performance?
Before we start, shout out my dad's birthday. Pop's birthday, got the dub for him. You can start it off now.
Okay.